Well, the Seattle Police Department and Police Foundation launched a new program called Courageous Lions for Courageous Kids. The program really shows the importance of community connection with our local law enforcement.
And this is brand new. So every time an SPD officer encounters a child who's witnessed or was part of a traumatic event, they will get a special stuffed lion like this one right here and a personalized certificate and also therapeutic services. And joining us this morning to continue the conversation about this is Seattle Police Community Service Officer Jeff Steuby. Jeff, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Great to have you with us to talk about this really important program. So how did this get started?
You know, it's been a little bit of time in the making. It started with a call, a domestic violence call that I responded to, and looking at the information prior to arriving, our officers called for a community service officer, and I says, oh goodness, this young man used 911 to call and get help for his mom who was being beaten again. And he thought on his feet. And his little sister was upstairs hiding under a blanket. And when I left the precinct, I said, oh goodness, here's a lion. Just happened to have one, not a bear or a dog or anything. And I just said, this is perfect for this young man. He showed so much courage, thinking on his feet, taking care of mom, taking care of his sister. It was difficult for him because that's his dad that he called on too. But he showed so much courage. I said, this is good. And when I presented it to him on scene, I was able to say, my friend, the Seattle Police Department is so proud of you for your courage, for taking care of your family. And I present you with this lion. And when I did that, he beamed. And a few days later, some victim advocates called me because he made a connection with me, and I was able to talk to him a little bit more. And I thought, oh goodness, you know, we got something here. The lions are courageous. You know, lions take care of their pride, their family. And I thought, I want to be part of a department that does that, and we do. And this is our effort to do that, to show that we take care of our Seattle kids. And I reached out to Harborview Assault and Trauma Center, and I reached out to our Seattle Police Foundation, whose donors were amazing, and they donated our lions, and came up with a certificate of courage, because when I look at these, a certificate, and I look at the lions, I see them as an anchor for our kids that will always remind them that I was courageous once, I can be courageous again. And on the back of the certificate is the information for a parent or guardian to contact our Assault and Trauma Center. And they will intervene in a quick way to get therapeutic help for the kids and the parents. And this starts on scene, which is big because that eliminates that gap of time that can happen between an event and actual therapy. And so we're really, really excited about this.
What a remarkable program, Jeff. And we know that it's never easy seeing a child go through a traumatic situation. You talked about that one child when you gave him that lion. How do other kids react when they get this stuffed animal? And how's the response been from officers who participate in the program and give those lions to the kids?
It's been positive. In fact, just yesterday I was at a very tough call, and I was able to present 2 lions to 2 toddlers and speak to mom about contacting the Assault and Trauma Center. And she texted me later that afternoon and said she had already done that. That's big. That's really big. Officers, there's a special aspect for officers. You know, we take these things home. Patrol officers, detectives, community service officers, we take these events home with us. And the act of giving a lion and a certificate and being able to refer to help for counseling is big, because sometimes you go home with these cases. I've met 5 little ones in 2023 that I could have adopted if I could. I would if I could. And so those things go with you, and now an officer can say, at least we did something. I was able to open that door to therapeutic intervention. I was able to give a lion that's an anchor for courage and a certificate. And you know, the officers sometimes, they go home, they don't have anybody to talk to, or the cases are so tough that they can, it's like, I can't talk to my family about it because it's too much for them to hear. So now, you know, sometimes they just got to talk to their dog or their cat, you know, but now they have something they can say, we did something. And
sounds like it impacts everybody involved, really. And talk to us more about that community policing. Why is it so important that law enforcement agencies participate in programs like this one and connect with the community?
well, we're all community. We're all community, and it's bridging that gap for a better understanding, because we're all people, we're all families, and you have that ability to lower the curtain, if you will, and open up to we're all people. We're all people, and we all have situations at home, we all have lives and stuff, and we're more alike than we are different.
Jeff, really quickly, if people want to donate to help you guys out with this, is there a way that they can do that?
I would contact the Seattle Police Foundation.
Okay.
They're outstanding, and they've done so much, and we're grateful as a department. We're grateful to these beautiful kids that courage inspires us. It stays with you, and we're truly grateful to them as well, and the Seattle Police Department and all their hardworking officers and detectives and victim advocates.
Yeah. Certainly appreciate the program. What a great idea to help out some of those kids, and obviously helping officers out in the process too.
For sure. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much for joining us, Officer Steuby.
Thank you. Appreciate you both so much.
And again, this is a look at, the Lions that they give out, and they get one of those certificates, fill out the name and those important resources that are on the back of that certificate. But really cool idea. You think about the trauma that some of those kids go through, and how difficult that can be for those kids, and one small little gesture like giving them a stuffed lion can make a big difference.
And I love the idea behind the lion, never thought behind the lion.
Yeah.
Lions are courageous, and to hear the story about the kid that kind of sparked the idea for this program, how courageous and brave, and how scary it must have been for that kid to call 911 on his own dad. So, those kids are heroes, as are our law enforcement agents and officers. So.
Dr. Jones, I wanted to ask you this in a follow-up to our conversation here. Why do you think that it's so important that we start teaching about this technology, AI, and what sort of resources are needed to provide that type of education to students?
Yeah, well, thank you for the question. And I think there's a couple reasons why this is really important. One, we want to make sure that we have resources for our educators. AI is here. We need to harness the power of it in many regards. There's a lot of different use cases for our teachers to make sure that they have an extension of their classroom, so that they can use AI for teaching assistance, they can use it for tutoring, they can use it to just expand what they can offer our students. Our students also need to be ready for what's coming in the future, and we understand that this is really important for our students to acquire these AI skills early on in their career, and so we're happy that we have opportunities for that. And really, this is cutting edge. It's what the future is demanding, that our students have these skills, and it's going to help them navigate. So it's really important that we have a partnership with someone like Amazon to really help us understand how this applies, not just in the classroom, but broader for college and career readiness.
So let's expand on that a little bit. How could artificial intelligence play a role in careers in the future?
Well, I think we already see it happening in careers. Gosh, I am having... so you see that it's interjecting into lots of things. We're probably all playing around with it a little bit in our jobs, but if we look forward, we want to inspire folks to see how AI could become an integral part of careers, and that's why we highlighted 10 potential careers of the future that intersect with AI.
Victor, don't worry about those earpieces, because sometimes I have problems with mine too, keeping them in the ear, but sometimes they like to pop out sometimes. As interesting and compelling as artificial intelligence is, a lot of people have some reservations when it comes to the technology. It's obviously new. A lot of people are being introduced to it. It's also been abused too. You know, that recently people took a stand on social media after the spread of fake non-consensual photos of Taylor Swift online. She obviously has a big following worldwide. What is your message to parents and students and really the general public when it comes to those concerns over the use of AI?
Yeah, I think those are real concerns, and I'm pleased that people are interested in what are some of the more safe uses of AI. One of the pieces that we want to make sure that we promote is digital citizenship. I think we need to start that in the classroom, at home, and really have opportunities for folks to understand what are the most appropriate uses of AI. We want to really create a culture, an ecosystem, if you will, of good digital citizenship. And so these are really important issues, but we've, as school districts and as corporations, we've dealt with disruptive situations before, and I think we'll be able to rise to the occasion and put some safeguards in place.
Digital citizenship.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Way to train them on that. And I just have one more question. How can parents, students start taking advantage of some of Amazon's AI educational resources now?
I want Victor to answer that, because I think there's some really cool things that we've seen at the school district that Amazon has kind of put in place. So Victor, would you want to speak to that?
Sure. Through our Amazon Future Engineer program, we've made a number of free resources available on that website that can be used by classrooms, but can also be used at home. So parents can take career tours to see some of the ways that this technology integrates with careers. And then through our AI Ready initiative, we've committed to train 2 million people on AI skills by 2025. And so there are free courses that are available. And so those are available to anybody. So you can take those courses yourself, or parents can and teachers can, and begin to learn about these skills directly. But we're also offering scholarships, and then we're creating opportunities in the community here in Seattle to make teachers and parents aware of those opportunities as well.
Victor, is there a go-to source where people can go to for information on those programs?
AmazonFutureEngineer.com.
Perfect.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Victor and Dr. Jones, for coming in and sharing all that information with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to have you both.
Well, just recently, King County Executive Dow Constantine, first responders, and several local mayors announced the completion of upgrades to the Puget Sound Emergency Radio Network.
So this system is all digital, and it helps first responders keep our region safe. And joining us to talk more about the launch is Mike Webb, the Executive Director of the Emergency Radio Network. Mike, good morning to you.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Nice to have you with us from Kent this morning. So start by telling our viewers what upgrades were made and how this system works.
Certainly. Well, the new system is essentially that. It is a brand new system. It does reuse small portions of the previous infrastructure. Some of the radio towers that were used as part of the old system are being used as part of the new system, but the radio equipment, the network infrastructure, really all of the technical components of the new system are brand new. The way the system works, there's about 60 or so radio transmission sites across the region. Each one of those can connect to a police, fire, public service radio of one form or another. And of course, they will rebroadcast those signals. They can rebroadcast them or transmit them to dispatch centers, 911 dispatch centers, or to other users that are local to that particular user, or anywhere across the county. You can basically make a transmission from anywhere in King County to pretty much anywhere else using the PSERN radio system.
So why were these upgrades needed?
Yeah, very good question. I think, as you're aware, this has been a fairly significant project with a large amount of funding raised through a voter levy. The rationale for the project was really to bring the emergency communications infrastructure into the modern day and build a system that will be sustainable for the next 2 or 3 decades. As levels of activity, increase across the region. The previous system was at the end of its life. It was built in the 1990s. The equipment that was that it was comprised of was no longer supported by the manufacturer. It was very difficult to get spare parts and things like that. The other really important thing to note around the rationale for the new system was, as the region has grown, as population has increased and building density has increased, the previous system did not provide the level of performance that is needed today. And then we measured that both in terms of the amount of coverage, in other words, the areas that a user is able to access the system, as well as the amount of capacity that it provides. This is also a much more resilient system with significantly improved levels of redundancy and resiliency. So any component that may fail, there's always at least one backup component. And then with the significant increase in the number of radio sites that we've built, transmission towers, we also have a significant amount of overlap of coverage from one site. So if we were to lose a tower, we would not see an impact from the point of view of the users of the system.
What's next for the project? Any other upgrades coming?
Not in the short term.
Okay.
The project, which I believe you're aware, was actually run by King County. The project is now really in the wind down phase, and the organization that I lead, which is the PSERN operator, is up and running. Has been up and running for a couple of years now. What's on our horizon here is really, to continue to build the capabilities within our organization. We are in our first year of operation, and so we're still coming to grips with all the mundane aspects of running a standalone organization. But that's come along a fair amount. All of the assets were transferred from the county to the PSERN operator at the end of the year, and we have now 23 staff up and running. And as I indicated, a lot of our focus is to build capability within that team. We do have a few things that are on the horizon as far as a continuation of implementation work. We do have some updates to user radio programming that we're working on still, and there is continuing to be a program underway to work with building owners to implement coverage systems in significant buildings across the county. That's driven by the various fire code and ordinances that are in place in the various jurisdictions that require building owners to implement signal enhancement systems in buildings of a certain size. So we do have a few things on the go at this point.
A lot of information there. Well, it's good you made those upgrades. Thank you so much, Mike, for joining us on ARC Seattle.